Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where last episode the Japanese invaded Korea, and we managed to repel them by pulling some tanks off of our front line. Not like they're really needed up here, to be honest, but we did pull them off of our front line, and they successfully pushed the Japanese out of Korea. It did highlight some potential issues, but ultimately I think the bigger problem is they just happened to invade while we were shuffling around our Coast Guard. Good timing on their part. Not really much else to say about that, I feel like. We do need to work on coastal forts out over here. I think that will be a very, very useful thing to do. So I'm going to queue up coastal forts up here. These are being put at the top of the list right now, although we're not actually going to have them be at the top of the list. I just want to get these queued up. They're going to be a little lower in priority than our infrastructure. So we'll do something about like that. Did I miss a spot? Yes, I did. Okay. Otherwise, that looks good. Wait a second. There we go. Now it looks good over there. But let's get this done as well, just in case. Something along the lines of that. Now, we don't want to do all of this right away. I want it down with the rest of the coastal forts. So we're going to move up this infrastructure, and then we're going to move up these rail lines, and then we're going to move up the supply hubs. Something like that. And now these coastal forts are in their correct position in the queue. We also need to queue up some infrastructure here. I'm going to wait on that, I think. For now, it's absolutely fine. So these guys are making their way up. These guys are going to make their way up. We expect these two little pockets to be gone by the time this episode is over, for sure. So I do want to see what our supply situation over here is looking like. It's definitely needing a hub somewhere around there. And let's just bring this rail line up over here for now. And then this hub can serve everything up over here. That looks pretty decent. We do need to motorize a couple of hubs over this direction. So that'll be absolutely great to have those complete, just in case we end up needing them. Something along the lines of that. And then we've got these hubs back here as well, which can, of course, also be motorized up. So everything is looking good on that front now, or once we finish that additional supply hub anyway. So that looks okay. Out over this direction, we're not expecting significant changes, and that's absolutely fine. Out over here, I don't believe that we're expecting anything too major down this way, although we may have finished some hubs over this way at some point. This one, apparently. That looks okay for now. We've got plenty of trucks, so I'm deeply unconcerned about trucks, but our infantry equipment is actually a bit on the low side. So we have moved that up in the priority, and we have to be careful about our prioritization. I'm not terribly concerned right now about our tank situation, so we may turn those down in the priority a little bit. We just don't have enough steel to do everything. And we also currently have a lot of free military factories. How many? Well, it's 216. That's rather a lot. No doubt about that. I'm just looking at this up over here and I'm thinking, do we want a hub up over this way? We kind of do, don't we? I think we do. So we'll do something kind of like that. And then we're definitely going to want like one more up over this way. I want to take a look at where this border is. Yeah, I think one more hub up over here will be absolutely fine. I don't think we'll need any more than that. So that looks good. We're just about done queuing up our logistics here, which is fantastic. I'll just get these moved all into the same category. Not that that's going to change the order that they build in significantly, but that's absolutely fine. So that looks good. We do need to do a little bit more research that we don't really care about. This is basically irrelevant at this point. I mean, if we want to invade Japan, we might want to consider building a navy at some point. That might be useful. But then again, it also might not be. I don't know if we actually want to invade Japan or not. We'll see. We're probably going to have to at a certain point. But that's a ways in the future right now. So for the time being, we're just kicking them off of the mainland, and that looks okay. So this up over here is the Kingdom of Livonia. Noted. Japan does hold a little bit out over here. But Japan is largely removed from the mainland at this point. Do they hold, like, things down over here? No, that's Madagascar. Okay. So that's not an issue. They definitely hold some islands out over here, but the US has, I believe, taken a lot of these. The Greater Pohnpei Union State. Okay. So there's still definitely a Japanese presence in the Philippines and down over here. And there's these guys out over here as well, which might be an easier place for us to invade. We'll think about it. But for now, this is looking reasonably fine. So we definitely need more forces in our Coast Guard if we want to defend our entire coastline. We have a significant coastline. The question is, how much do we actually care about that? And I think the answer is some. Not necessarily a tremendous amount, but certainly some. So we're making our way through Siberia up over here, and that'll all be finished up very, very soon. Out over here, these attacks are going to be done very shortly, aren't they? Indeed they are. But again, it's pretty slow going out over here. Hang on. Is this a supply hub? No, it is not. Okay. I just wanted to check. That's a factory. Gotcha. That's fine. We should probably consider converting a bunch of our military factories over to civilian factories. And we're getting to the point where we can start justifying doing that. So that's definitely an interesting thing to think about. For the moment, I think we're not going to do that just yet, but I'm very, very close to wanting to do that. So down over this way, we're just chunking through this for now. They may... No, I don't think they can have any supply flow through this because there's no victory point. There's no river supply flow when there's no victory point, right? I'm like 45% sure about that. Not terribly sure about it, but I'm somewhat sure about it. So I just kind of want to push in here. I'll give it a moment until we've taken this and we can roughly surround them. Our supplies over here are dire, for sure. But we knew that that was going to be the case. That was always going to be obvious. Okay, so this is our position right now, and we can see these guys are going to be pincered eventually. I want to attack out over here, actually. And what that's going to mean is that we can head in over here, and also Livonia is heading in over here. We'll see who gets there first. Okay, this guy is on the way. Good. Okay, Livonia got there first. That's fine. This is as good as we're going to get, so I'm going to select all of these guys and tell them, just get in here. We want to stack wipe all of this. We don't care whether we take this or not. It's fine either way. We just want to stack wipe them. They have nowhere to go, and they're out of here. So that looks perfect. This front is wrapping up. Now, I'm not planning on disbanding our armies, to be clear. But that's done at this point. We've just got this one last Alpine unit, and there we go. So that's now completed, and we're now going to be needing to think about what our next moves are going to be. So there's that. If we were to take, say, this tank army here, there's only 4 units. If we were to take them down over this way and tell them, why don't you plan a naval invasion from here to here? There's no way that we can actually execute this, right? And I don't think we can actually have this tank brigade do this. I'm trying to assign them to this naval invasion. It's not going. So that's interesting. What happens if I do that? Oh, now we can assign them. Okay, sure. So we can tell them to go, but as you can see, we lack sufficient intel to dare sending an invasion through the regions, assign more navies or air wings on missions, or cover the above areas with radar. We could certainly build radar here. Done. We'll do that. I think that the game is going to require us to have some sort of a naval presence to actually do this, and if we take a look at our naval map mode, this is the extent of our navy. We have no navy. So, you know, that's exciting. We may want to start building one, but the main problem with that is that requires steel. And we need a lot of steel. We're at minus 293 steel right now. So I'm going to turn down our tank production, completely turning it off pretty much at this point. We don't need to be producing more tanks right now. We do need to be producing more infantry equipment and support equipment, but I also do want to think about starting to make some ships here. So, how do we want to do this? Well, I'm just looking at what we've got here. We've got the 44 destroyer, and the way that I usually construct these navies, which isn't necessarily entirely like historically accurate or anything like that, but I usually design the navies like so. Submarines are designed for anti-capital ship warfare. Destroyers are designed for anti-submarine. Cruisers are usually designed for anti-air. I usually don't go very hard into battleships. And then the aircraft carriers, which this is a converted cruiser, but the aircraft carriers are usually the like core of the Navy, and then they run like air sorties and stuff. We don't have airplanes for them. So for right now, I think we're going to start from the bottom up. And what I mean by the bottom is the bottom of the sea, and we're going to start making submarines. So let's get ourselves some submarines going here, and this is going to be torpedo tubes 4, definitely. Like I said, this is primarily designed for anti-capital ships. So you can see here that we don't really care all that much about radar here. The snorkel would reduce our sub-visibility, which is probably better. As far as the rear tubes go, we can definitely have some torpedo tubes there. And we can have more torpedo tubes, and then we can get this engine in here. So that's going to cost us only 23 to save this as a new design. There's a lot of locked equipment slots here. That's fine. So we'll save that as the 1944 submarine, and we are going to start producing these in this position here. And I'm going to put 10 dockyards on it. So we're going to start getting those going, but it's going to be a while. We're going to be producing, what, like 1 per month right now? So we can start producing a second one. There we go. But I also want to produce at least some destroyers, and probably cruisers as well. I don't know about making aircraft carriers right now. To be honest, I kind of don't want to make aircraft carriers at all. At least not for the moment. So for right now, let's start working on a destroyer. So we'll create a variant here. And this is anti-submarine warfare. We'll have some depth charges, and this is going to be prioritizing heavily anti-sub warfare. We are going to have some, maybe like 1 unit of, well, we actually have anti-air down here, so that's fine. This would then be anti-submarine warfare as well. The battery here, what do we want? The light battery 1 or 2? Well, the 2 is just better. So we're going to go for that. As far as the fire control system goes, we are probably going to go for the sonar for the sub detection. As far as the radar goes, we can go for a second sonar, but that doesn't actually allow us to put that in, does it? It did. That's odd. It had an X over it. So that's the radar there. I assume that this means that we can't put it on. But it lets us put it on. That's a little odd. We don't apparently have any torpedoes that we can put in this. Maybe that's because we have 2 sonars. No? Okay. We just don't have any torpedoes that we can put in this at this time. That's fine. I think I am going to put in a radar here. Apparently this does give us sub detection as well. So let's give us that, and that'll be fine. So we'll get 2 units of destroyer going as well. So let's move this up to about that same level. This is going to, of course, cost us more steel, and that's absolutely understood. So we're going to move this up to here and get these going. Now, we've only got a few more dockyards remaining, and that's understood. So I do want to get going on a cruiser as well, which the cruisers I'm designing, again, to be primarily anti-air. So we're going to do something like this. Lots and lots of anti-air guns. Just insane amounts of anti-air guns. And then we're probably going to go with, let's see, these medium batteries, or the light batteries here are probably not what we want to go for. I'm thinking we go for the heavy cruiser batteries here, mostly because that'll give us at least some amount of anti-ship weapons. We do have those in our torpedoes, but this'll help us out a little bit in that regard. So at this point, fire control system, we probably want to go with an FCS on this, right? Yeah, that boosts our anti-air. So we definitely want a radar on this, max out the engine. We can put in a secondary battery, and then as far as the armor goes, we can just do something like that. Okay, so we'll get that going, but there's only so many of these that we can actually build. I want to get a second line of this going, and that's going to be like that, but we can actually only do 5 for these. Interesting. So we only need 1 additional naval dockyard for that. Can we build a naval dockyard anywhere? Actually, yes, we can. And that's going to be right down over here as a top priority. Okay, beautiful. So next up, I want to check in on our core situation. We can be coring, and we should do that. The end of the fiscal year is a very long ways away, so that looks good. We could purchase dreadnoughts. I'm not going to do that at this time. We're going to produce them domestically. So that looks good. We do have more researches that we can do, and that'll upgrade those ships further, and we'll probably upgrade them as we work on that. But for now, this is absolutely fine. Let's just get some of this going. Only 12 days on that research? Wow. Okay, so there we go. That'll be fine. Now, these guys up over here, they're kind of not doing anything. These guys are intended to be in the Coast Guard. And where are we going to send them? Well, we know that these are relatively good. This one needs a fair amount of additional divisions still, but I want to check in on here. 41, that's correct, and you don't have anything right now. 47, so I'm just going to toss these guys in here. Okay, for now that looks good, and I do want to delete any of these orders that are extant up here. Like that for now. And these lads down this way, they are part of this northern theater, and they will remain here. So I want to select everything here and just have it frontline, something like this. Okay. Are they assigned to this? Only 1 division was assigned? There we go. Now they're all assigned. So that looks perfect. We've got this guy here. He's already an infantry specialist. I don't know why it was telling us we had something that we could have him do, but okay, sure. I'm just gonna have these guys frontline up over here for now. We'll figure out where we want them to go as additional wars break out, because I have a feeling we might be drawn into a conflict with Yugoslavia at some point. We'll find out. So everything is looking good at this time. I do want to start converting over some of these factories, but I feel like we should wait on that. And the timing on that, I think, should be... Oh, I wanted to check the supply situation up here one last time. This definitely could use an additional hub somewhere around here. And then we just run a rail line like that, and then like that. I also feel like 1 more supply hub here would be good. Oh, there is one going in there. Okay, perfect. So that looks good as it is then. Okay. So we do need to get these motorized. We'll do that right now, just in case anything breaks out over this way, but there's not currently a need for these supplies. Okay, something along the lines of that, and this one as well. Cool. So that looks good for the moment. That needs some additional work, of course, and I want to select these guys, delete this order because it's no longer really a thing. We're just going to head up over here, grab that last Japanese territory, and that's all good. So we're going to have to figure out what we want to do with all of these armies that we've made, right? We'll think about it. But for now, what I want to do is I want to come down here. We just got the improved submarine snorkel. So to that end, we can upgrade this submarine here. So that would be creating a variant of this. And then we can upgrade the snorkel to the level 2 snorkel. There we go. So that's now the Mark 1, and that'll cause us to lose some production. Yeah, that's expected. It's okay. So that seems relatively fine, although... Ah, there we go. Now the steel is being allocated. That looks good. So these guys down over here. We lack sufficient intel to dare sending them. We will try to send them eventually. And I do want to pull probably this unit, actually. So I want to pull these guys off of this front line. For the moment, I don't expect a war with the Soviet Union. I want to pull them down over this direction and just have them be sitting in Kuala Lumpur for the moment. So that looks okay for now. And the question then becomes, how are we doing on the radar construction? Well, we have one level of radar built here at this time. So that seems neat. So we lack the intel still at this point in the Straits of Malacca. So I'm wondering, this range, this now went up to a level 2 radar station. Surely that's enough range, right? Apparently not. What's our intel level here? Can we even see? I don't even know where we see that. Okay, we're estimating 8 to 15 enemy ships in this region, so that seems fine. We'll be able to very soon get some submarines out there, and that'll be a very good thing. So this looks fine for the moment, and we're just going to start getting a bit of a navy going. It's going to take a little time. That's for sure. But, I mean, we're only about 2 weeks away from our first submarines coming to sea. That's really, really fast construction. So that's not bad. We do have some research slots available, and we're just going to continue to work our way through some of these naval researches. We're going to have to get some upgrades done on this, of course, and that's understood. There's the 44 carrier, and we're not interested in actually making any carriers at this time. I'm not sure if I'll ever make carriers in this particular playthrough. We will see. We'll see how important it feels like. But really, all we need for our Navy is we just need it to be able to exist in a location for long enough for naval invasions to happen. That's all we need from it. We don't need any, like, significant naval superiority. We just need very localized, temporary naval superiority. That's all we need. So that would be definitely useful. No doubt about that. We'll probably have, like, some marauding bands of submarines surrounding Japan and the like, but I don't know that we need any major naval conflict here. I think we'll be fine without it. I don't know if we'll be able to actually do this with just radar. It's still not considered covered at this point, even though our radar station is now level 3. This is giving us 80% coverage of the Straits of Malacca, and we're still reporting insufficient intel at this point. So we'll see how that goes. On level 4, we'll probably get pretty high on the Straits of Malacca as far as the coverage goes, but we'll see. Maybe that's a thing, maybe it isn't. We're going to have submarines coming to sea very, very soon. So that is excellent. So as we can see here, we are working on all of this. HMIS? Interesting. I guess that makes sense as the East India Company. Very interesting. We have a free dockyard, and I don't feel like we should. Okay. Well, I guess for the moment it's fine. I'm not going to toss that dockyard at anything except maybe an additional cruiser line. Our cruisers are pretty slow to build. Yeah, I'm going to do it. We're doing another cruiser line here, and that's going to be 5, but we don't actually have 5 dockyards. We're just going to throw 1 dockyard at it for now. It's going to be slow, but we'll get that going. So that looks fine for right now. We don't have any land combat ongoing at this time, and that's absolutely wonderful. We're very, very happy about that. We've got these guys up over here, and to be honest, I'm going to take these guys, and I'm just going to have them frontline here. And I'm going to do the same thing out over here for now. So that'll just give them a place to stand for the moment. It'll be fine. That looks good. We're at 8.55 million manpower right now, and our recruitable monthly growth is pretty okay. How are we doing on our recruitments here? So these recruitments are stalled due to lack of equipment here. So the equipment in question is infantry equipment. That's not surprising. The armored division here is also stalled out due to infantry equipment requirements. Okay. We should be pretty satisfied on our infantry equipment at this point in terms of reinforcements because we're not expending significant amounts of military equipment. And then if you check in here, you can see that our infantry equipment is here, and we're producing 1,000 per day. We need 44,000, so we should get caught up on that very, very soon. As far as the support equipment goes, we're not running into any issues with our Navy right now. Okay, that seems fine then. So the amphibious drive just finished up, and that's absolutely fine. We're going to continue to work on some of this naval tech, although I think we have all of this that we can get done right now done. We're going to need more special projects for that. So we can work on, like, some damage control here. This is okay. We'll get that going. Okay, now as far as special projects go, we do actually have the ability to do some of this. So this is our naval engineering here, and what do we want to go for? We could start working on modern carriers. Sure, we'll get that going. As far as our land warfare goes, we can work on land cruisers, but we don't actually have the breakthroughs for that, so we can do self-propelled super heavy howitzers. Is this? Yes, howitzers. Okay, cool. So that looks fine. As far as our air goes, we can just grab something kind of at random. We're ignoring the Air Force at this point. And we can go for the Smiling. Perfect. That'll be absolutely fine. And with that, it is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to start utilizing these fancy, fancy new submarines that we've got here. That'll be fantastic. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Aurelio, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. As I was in the middle of saying Aurelio, I was reading Saudi Arabia right there. It went poorly.